And there are several techniques available for elicitation. So the first one is stakeholder analysis. Stakeholder analysis is done to identify the stakeholders who will be impacted by the system. Stakeholders can include team members, customers, any individual who is impacted by the project, or it can be a supplier, whoever. Brainstorming. This technique is used to generate new ideas and find solutions for a specific issue. The members includes for brainstorming can be domain experts, subject matter experts. Multiple ideas and information give you a repository of knowledge, and you can choose from different ideas. Brainstorming techniques is used to answer the questions. For example, what is the expectation of the system? What are the risk factors that affects the proposed system development, and what do you do to avoid that? What are the business and organizational rules required to follow? What are the options available to resolve the current issues? What should you do so that this particular issue does not happen in the future? Interview. This is the most common technique used for requirement elicitation. Interview techniques should be used for building a strong relationship between business analysts and stakeholders. In this technique, the interviewer directs the questions to the stakeholder to obtain information. One-to-one interview is the most commonly used technique. If the interviewer has a predefined set of questions, that it's called a structured interview. But if you don't have any particular format or any specific questions, then it's called an unstructured interview. For an effective interview, you can consider the 5 why technique. When you get an answer to all your whys, then you're done with your interview process. Open-ended questions are used to provide detailed information. Document analysis or review. This technique is used to gather business information by reviewing or examining the available materials that describe business environment. This analysis is helpful to validate the implementation of current solutions. It is also helpful in understanding the business need. Document analysis includes reviewing the business plans, technical documents, problem reports, existing requirement documents, etc. This is useful when the plan is to update the existing system. And this technique is important in identifying the gaps in the system, for example, to compare as-is process with the to-be process. This analysis also helps when the person who has prepared the existing document is no longer present in the system. Focus group. By using a focus group, you can get information about the product, service from a group. The focus group includes subject matter expert. The objective of this group is to discuss the topic and provide information and finding to the stakeholders. If a product is under development and discussion is required on that product, then the result will be to update the existing requirements, or you might get new requirements. If a product is ready to ship, then discussion will be on releasing the product. Interface analysis. Interface analysis is used to review the system, people, and processes. This analysis is used to identify how the information is exchanged between the components. I like this one, observation. The main objective of the observation session is to understand the activity, task, tools used, and events performed by others. The plan to observation ensures that all stakeholders are aware of the purpose of the observation session, they agree on expected outcomes, and that the session meets their expectations. Active observation is to ask questions and try to attempt the work that other person are doing. Passive observation is silent observation. For example, you just sit with others and just observe how they are doing their work without interpreting them. And then we have a prototyping. Prototyping is used to identify missing or unspecified requirements. In this technique, frequent demos are given to the client by creating the prototypes so that client can get an idea of how the product will look like. Prototypes can be used to create mock-ups of sites and describe the process using diagrams. Joint application development or requirement workshops. This technique is more process-oriented and formal as compared to other techniques. These are structured meetings involving end-user, Scrum team, stakeholders, and this is used to define, clarify, and complete requirements. And we have survey or questionnaire. For these techniques, a set of questions is given to stakeholders to quantify their thoughts. After collecting the responses from stakeholders, data is analyzed to identify the area of interest of stakeholders. Questions should be based on high priority risks. Questions should be direct and ambiguous. The two types of questions can be used here. Open-ended questions, where respondents given the freedom to provide answers in their own words rather than selecting from predefined responses. And close-ended. It includes a predefined set of answers for all the questions, and the respondent has to choose from those answers.